Welcome to Grace and Camo Adventures. My name is Greg, and the camel part of this channel's name. I'll be your tour guide on this video, and hope to give you a taste of the fun we had on our trip. As we leave Arizona on July 1st for the summer, embarking on our first really extended vacation since we got married in 2005, this was going to be a 3-month road trip with only a few map dots set around the country, and a hotel for our first night in New Mexico. As we drive through the Arizona high country, we are treated to a beautiful monsoon storm. There was a double rainbow, but it can be hard to capture while driving up in the mountains. Those roads can be quite curvy. One of the things we like to find while we're out traveling are the small towns so we can sample the food and ambiance of the area. This little coffee shop in Gallup, New Mexico had rave reviews on Google for their coffee and cinnamon rolls. As you can see, the cinnamon rolls fill a dinner-sized styrofoam container. The coffee was pretty tasty as well. And of course, as you head through Texas, you can't skip barbecue. We always make it a point to stop here at Tom and Bingo's to grab some brisket and ribs. The rib meat falls off the bone, and the brisket is so tender it melts in your mouth with such amazing flavors. So if you're in Lubbock, definitely stop for lunch, because they may not have enough by the time dinner rolls around, because this place closes when they run out of food. Texas is one of those places we come to visit family. It's a place where we can disconnect and not have to be around the hustle and bustle of a big city. For the most part, all we see is farmland everywhere you look. The small towns we drive through usually have no more than 1,000 people in them, but the small towns we like only have maybe 400. Our time in Texas just focuses on decompressing and relaxing while we play with the dogs and spend quality time with family. We also get to catch up on this adorable little girl's adventures. Just a short drive east of our niece and nephew's house is the Wolf Creek County Park with Lake Fryer as its beautiful centerpiece. We headed out to take some pictures and wander through the lush trees and to check out the wildlife. While we were there, we thought it would be a good idea to pull out the drone and capture the sunset as well as the expanse of the park. You can dry camp or bring your RV with plenty of spots near or on the lake to stake your campsite and then head out to fish, paddleboard, or kayak on the serene waters. They also have a public boat ramp, restrooms, and a restaurant with a general store. Sadly, we only got to see the deer from a distance since Skeeter was not happy with the drone flying around and really wanted to bark at it. This is definitely a county park to consider if you're out exploring North Texas and want a quiet spot where you'll have plenty of room to spread out and relax. Happy 4th of July! There were a lot of fireworks over about a 4-hour span. I think we ended up with the nicest seat in the house, watching from the back porch. We headed south for a few hours to see more family and ran across some great storms along the way. We ran into some half-inch hail and a lot of wind, but boy, those storm clouds look beautiful. They hadn't had a rain in quite a few weeks. When the storms come, so do the critters. Kendra loves finding the horned toads, but I'm not sure they enjoy the attention. For those who like finding odd roadside attractions, this one should be added to your list. Slugbug Ranch in Conway, Texas is right off the I-40 at exit 96. You can't see it from the freeway, but just set the waypoint on your mapping app and go check it out. Similar to Cadillac Ranch, you can spray paint the bugs or the shack with some of the leftover spray cans in the trash or bring your own. This is a quick shot from the road over the dam at Lake Meredith National Recreation Area, just outside of Fritz, Texas, home of tater salad for you Ron White fans. And of course, I think it's considered a crime if you go through a small town in this country and not stop and take a picture of the local mural in the center of town. While traveling in North Kansas on a 2-lane road, we came across a disabled big rig in the middle of the road, and the officer on scene just looks over the Jeep and says, "Go back a little ways and take the first county road you get to on the left. You'll definitely make it." Well, that road went from this nice green dirt road to a dry field to a partially cut field of wheat. I'm sure that farmer we talked to halfway through really didn't appreciate that officer sending us through his field. While we were in West Nebraska, we had to stop at the old Cabela's headquarters in Sidney, Nebraska to pick up a Cabela's hat. I've been collecting Cabela's hats with the city and state for the past few years, but through COVID, they had changed up the supplier for the hats at the Sydney store, and so that one is actually a little different than all the rest in the collection. I'm pretty close to collecting at least half of the hats that are available out there. As we were getting closer to exiting Nebraska, we came across a familiar sight to our eyes, but definitely odd to see in the middle of a flat state like Nebraska. Scotts Bluff National Monument definitely stands out in this area of Nebraska, and we'll definitely be back to check it out. As I use the GPS to find our routes, it always seems to highlight strange roadside attractions. I'm not sure why that happens, because it always seems to get me in trouble, because of course I want to go see what makes this so fascinating, and others would rather just get to the destination. But in the end, places like this always seem to leave their mark on the trip. This roadside attraction is Carhenge in Alliance, Nebraska. Carhenge was built in the summer of '87 and is open year-round from dawn to dusk. They have a variety of sculptures made from various cars and car parts. There's also a pit stop gift shop that's open seasonally, or you can check it out online. It's definitely a fun take on Stonehenge. After a long day on the road, it's nice to see a beautiful sunset over these grassy plains, but somebody was definitely too tuckered out to deal with us, telling him he had to sleep on the floor. As soon as we walked into the hotel, we saw there were 2 beds and immediately made his choice and went right to sleep. Thanks for watching. We hope to see you next week for another episode. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. We really appreciate your support.